Hello, I'm Matt Griffin with this Career and Technical Education Spotlight. This one involves a North American Bigfoot who lives in the woods not far from here, and an exploration of the idea that there's more that unites us than there is that divides us. Australian educator Toby Hurd first met Heritage High School principal Derek Garrison during the early days of the COVID pandemic at a virtual job fair. Their meeting sparked ideas for some globe-spanning collaboration.
I really like the idea of like open classrooms, and the world's a big place, but it's also a small place. And I wanted my students to know that we're not bound by the four walls that they live in, and you can go out and branch out and build relationships, and then build projects with those relationships or in and around those relationships.
That idea of an ocean and continent spanning classroom turned into a series of Zoom calls between students in Perth and students at Heritage. Toby's students in Perth would gather at 6:30 in the morning so that they could collaborate and learn with students at Heritage at 3:30 in the afternoon, a 15-hour time difference. 4 years later, Toby is in Vancouver to turn this collaboration into an opportunity for his own professional development as an educator, working with digital arts students at Heritage to create the Boomerang Bond, a movie about an Australian Bigfoot and an American Bigfoot who become friends.
So it's 3D modeling, stop motion, 2D animation, motion graphics. It's not just one thing. We're problem solving while we're using this stuff. So the kids learn, it's not always about just the software and the tools they have, it's about how to learn about the software and the tools that they can keep going and growing.
Taylor Armstrong came into the project confident in graphic design, but came away with a whole new set of skills.
When it came into the process of like 2D animation and creating things that would be shown in the film, it was a little intimidating because I wasn't expecting to be doing it, and it was with a program that I hadn't like familiarized myself with yet. But it was helpful because I had Strong and Mr. Younger just like helping me through the whole thing, and it was pretty easy to learn. And ultimately, in the end, I really loved the end result. So now I know how to work that program, and like I was able to contribute to the whole film.
With just 3 weeks to complete the project before Toby heads back to his classroom in Australia, students are proud of themselves for rising to the occasion on a tight deadline.
I want people to know actually how much effort we put in the project. Because even though it's only 7 minutes, it took us such a long time, and a lot of us worked overtime, and we had to spend our own time to finish the project. So I actually want people to appreciate everyone's work.
And it really has been a team effort, with students learning new design, photography, 2D and 3D animation skills, alongside the collaboration skills they'll need in the working world.
One of the big things that I've taken away is just working as a team. Just collaborate, that kind of collaboration that you need anywhere, in most jobs. And yeah, not everybody specializes in one area and then they come together. No, it's a bunch of people that specialize in a lot of different areas that come together to make this overall project. And so I think that that's the kind of formation that you need for any job, really.
Nancy Krause, an exchange student from Germany, says the theme of the students' Bigfoot movie carries a message for these complicated times.
I think I want people to take away that we worked on this a long time and hard, and that it is a story of friendship. Like they start to become friends, and it's kind of like what we did during this project. We became friends and we became colleagues, kind of. So. Definitely a story of friendship and how you shouldn't discriminate just because they're from a different country.
For his part, Toby says he'll return to Australia with new skill sets as an educator and an appreciation for what the students at Heritage have taught him.
I'm a teacher, but can I come and be a student and then just work and learn? And I certainly, and I'm thankful to Nathan and Derek for giving me the time and the space to do that and to explore that sort of concept. So I've certainly, I've learnt, I have a certain set of skills, but I didn't think that I would learn as much as I have prior to coming.
The Boomerang Bond had its official debut in front of a packed house at Kiggins Theatre in downtown Vancouver. Now that you've seen how it all came together, here it is in its broadcast debut.
See, that's where the forest grows thick and the trees are bigger. That's Bigfoot country down there.
I remember hearing a story about an Australian Bigfoot when I was a kid who might have ended up out this way.
How about that? Well, how did that...
Once upon a time,
Okay.
in a place in Western Australia called the Pinnacles, there lived a creature. All hairy, long-armed, big eyes, big teeth, and as the name indicates, big feet. Some say it is a beauty to the desert. To me, it's always just seemed hot, dry, and unforgiving. The Australian Bigfoot didn't mind it so much, but it was pretty lonely. It hadn't seen another Bigfoot ever. Just the occasional kangaroo, emu, bellbird, spinifex hopping mouse, and python.
What's a spinifex hopping mouse?
Dinner for a python. One day, it mixed some of the red sand with water and made paste. And with the paste, it wrote a message on a boomerang. It held the boomerang as hard as it could, and for once in its life, hoped it wouldn't come back. It flew and flew and flew, past Uluru, right over the Sydney Opera House, across the Great Barrier Reef, and right across the Pacific Ocean.
Across the ocean? How though?
I reckon magic, one assumes.
Right.
Anyways, as I was saying, across the Pacific Ocean, under the Astoria Bridge, through the San Juan Islands, past the Space Needle, over Old Town.
That route doesn't even make sense. It's flying everywhere. North, south, east, west. That's not even how a boomerang flies. Ah, magic again?
On a serious? Finally, the boomerang flew into the thick forest of the Pacific Northwest and wham! Hit the head of an unsuspecting North American Bigfoot. The forest, as you well know, can be its own type of unforgiving. Rain, wind, cold. But the North American Bigfoot didn't mind it so much. But it was pretty lonely. Just the occasional black-tailed deer, owl, tree frog, and timber wolf. So when it read "Friend Wanted," the reply came quickly. It grabbed some berries and wrote back. It hurled it back as hard as it could. Off it flew. Old Town, Space Needle, San Juan Islands, Astoria Bridge, across the Pacific Ocean, Great Barrier Reef, Sydney Opera House, Uluru, and back to the Pinnacles. The Australian Bigfoot was overjoyed.
Magic again.
Precisely. It finally had a mate, a pen pal of sorts, a friend. Back and forth they wrote messages and threw the boomerang to one another, forming a friendship and bond. They talked about anything and everything, what they had in common and what was unique to Australia and the Pacific Northwest. One day the North American Bigfoot had an idea, and it invited the Australian Bigfoot to come and visit, oblivious to the idea of distance and just how treacherous such a journey would be.
Couldn't it just use, magic again?
Strangely, no. Anyway, as I was saying, off it flew. Space Needle, San Juan Islands, Astoria Bridge, the Pacific Ocean, to the Great Barrier Reef. Whomp! A great white shark snatched the boomerang and ate it.
Wait, what? That's it?
Ate it whole. Message never arrived. No invite received. Just end of story. By then I should have been asleep anyway.
Well, That's not how I expected it to end at all. That's bittersweet. I mean, I guess there's lessons to be learned about friendship or something.
I don't know, mate. It's just a cautionary tale about looking out for sharks in the reef.
Though I suppose it's one of those stories where you can imagine a different last chapter on your own. I always envisaged the Australian Bigfoot had come to know its friend well enough and wanted to see it anyway. It didn't even need the invitation via Boomerang. It probably hiked past Uluru, Old Town, right here to Keegan's Theatre. Two friends together, having fun.
You know, I like that ending. Those two are probably out there playing with each other. They don't even have time to interact with us humans. It's magic. It's the magic of friendship.
One assumes.
That's not right. Wasn't that great? The digital arts students at Heritage High School put so much work into this project that they made their own behind-the-scenes making of documentary about the project. Check it out.
Sometimes when we're learning alongside students, that's great. And I think the world is moving so fast right now that you can't help but learn alongside. You're not very far ahead of students anymore. It used to be that you were all-knowing. Is like, well, the reason this class exists is because I know a lot about science, math, history, whatever. And now as the world shrinks and as information becomes more accessible and technology becomes more accessible, the educator has to change. They have to evolve. And I think this has been a fun exercise in seeing, like, what's that evolution going to feel like?
Okay, slight hiccup. I've missed my flight. I should have been leaving last night, and I completely misread the dates. I was leaving on the 3rd, but I thought I was leaving on the 4th.
Frustration of you can clearly see it. In the all right, that's recording. Hang on, let me see. Take two. All right. So just explain to me why you're a better animator than Mr. Younger, and then Lauren, explain to me why you make better puppets than Younger.
I make better puppets than Younger because I'm just better. and I have the young hands. He might be named younger. I'm young.
Better, stronger, smarter.
When Mr. Younger told you there was someone coming from Australia, what did you think?
Am I gonna work well with him? Am I gonna like it?
I was just excited to meet you because I've met people from Australia before, but like I've had doctors and stuff from Australia, so it's not like I've never met an Australian person before, but it's like I've never been around someone enough to like know their culture and stuff. So like having you in this room for like a month, consistently for an hour, it's been fascinating and fun to get to know you.
But we were talking about
The grief.
yeah.
Of trying to get the production. This is day 2, and we're starting to see how much work we have to do. And I know some of the kids are already talking about it, but usually this is a 2-year project in college that we're trying to do in 2 weeks. I'm gonna get that on a shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're at the stage now where we're thinking, oh, man,
He wants to go back to Australia? And I'm going with him.
Yeah.
But the students are changing fast. The young people are changing fast. And so the educator awareness around what does project-based learning look like? What does learning look like? What does creative risk look like? What does academic safety look like? They need to be thinking these things. And this has been just a great lived experience for me as a building leader. And then watching you and watching Nate, watching Adam, watching Troy, watching these other adults to kind of see like, how are they wrestling with this? This is going fast. There's an authentic audience at the end. There's a very real make. So it's been fun. The short film is going to be what it's going to be, and I'm excited to see it and be a part of it. But the bigger picture implications on this are even cooler for me as far as like, okay, we did that. Now what? Now what product-wise? But also, now what teaching and learning-wise? What did we learn from this? I think there's a ton of reflection that can happen on that.
Arts disciplines are coming together to create something new, something that maybe they've only seen like on DVD highlight reels or, documentaries of other stop motion movies.
Learn how to skeleton it and skin weight it and animate it yourself. You went on that journey, and was it frustrating to have to do that on your own, or did you like being able to do the research and learn?
That was my initiative to make it pretty and to learn how to make a skeleton for it.
This project is made of something tangible, of something tactile, with the fur and the different faces to change. I think what's really cool about this is the techniques y'all are using are techniques that are being used in the industry, and then the students actually get an opportunity to practice those. Something that maybe they never thought they'd be interested in.
So you made a lot of our 2D assets, including scrolls, our map, some of our posters, and then you also did the motion graphics scene in the short. What was your favorite thing that you made for this project?
I think probably the poster, because it was really cool to see it blown up and put up in front of the school, and it was kind of surprising to me because I don't think I'd ever see it around, but it was cool to see something that I made blown up in the poster.
Well, I mean, what I like to do in education is I like to be innovative and innovative and bold, and we're trying to teach something that our school district's never taught in stop motion, especially at this level in production. And every day, like you said, there's been a struggle because something, comes up that we have to kind of adapt and move and try to fix. And, from the magnet eyes, from the reversal of the magnets shooting off the eyes, going different ways and directions because there's 2 magnets and one's in the middle, to like clay cooking, to students' attendance, to computer issues, rendering issues. I mean, we've had every single issue you can think of on this project, and we've only been doing it for 2 weeks at this high level, and we were able to see like a production level wise how many issues. But like you were saying, it's quite interesting to see like the students, us try to come up with solutions to fix the problems. But like at the end of the day, to me, I always feel like you learn more from failure. So like the fact that we've failed at multiple things, like from certain animation things not working to modeling things not working to Bigfoot's foot falling off and him flying off the table to his eyes shooting up in the sky to all these different things, hair falling off, that we're learning to adapt as we go. And that's what the industry that these kids would work in, multiple industries, not just animation, they have to learn how to problem solve and critical think, and they're dealing with this. You and I are dealing with this, and they're dealing with this.
What better place to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation is try and make an animation with with a bunch of students in 4 weeks, like you said, a two-year college project in 4 weeks.
In 4 weeks.
With multiple classes.
Yep, with multiple kids throughout the day.
Yeah, so that was my reason for doing it. But I think the animation is all good and well, but it's the relationships that are built in between it, the laughing, the problem solving, like you said, all those, you can meet someone so much over Zoom but working with someone side by side is, for me, it's a fulfilling, that's what teamwork is. Yeah, maybe it was me exploring what teamwork is, without realizing it.
What are you hoping when you go back to Australia and talk to your peers? What is your biggest takeaway that you want to be able to showcase to them about this project?
Yeah, that maybe professional learning and professional development doesn't have to be something where you sit in a room and get talked to or talked at. Where teachers, you can be a student. There is room in schools. I mean, like you guys you've made room for me here to become a student for 4 weeks. And yeah, I'm a teacher, but in this situation or this environment, I'm not an animator. Like, I'm learning so much off you. So I think the thing that I would like to take back is that, you can do school differently as well, but you can do professional development and professional learning differently. And project work and teamwork and everything that this project encapsulates, that's kind of what you want good teachers to do.
In every single thing, he's kind of the backbone of, that piece of it. And so every single piece coming together, he's the one that's holding it together. And so it's just cool to see, because he has like these different skills that he uses. He just applies that to all of us, and he teaches us something. And so, how to be better at, stop motion animation, or 3D modeling, or animation in general. And one of the things that I've learned from him is that you don't have to specialize in one thing to be successful. You can, specialize or have skills in multiple different things, and that will make you a good part of the project as well. It's such a good thing to get to know other people from very different worlds, pretty much. And so I think that's kind of what they're doing. Of course, it's showing about their friendship, but I think one of the importances is that you can see when the boomerang is going back and forth, you can see them interchanging different parts of their culture. And I think that's really an important thing, is that we have to know other people's cultures, more than just our own.
What has been so great about this project is that even after Toby Hurd returned to his school in Australia, students were still inspired to keep working. They made a sequel to Boomerang Bond. Here it is in its broadcast debut.
Once upon a time, in a place in Western Australia called the Pinnacles, there lived a creature, old town, all hairy, and all right here to Keegan's Theatre.
So that's the happy ever after of this story.
Oh wait, I heard there was more to the story.
I also heard that.
Once upon a time, after the two Bigfoot friends left Keegan's Theatre, they went on an adventure to explore America. The two friends loaded up in the American Bigfoot's big truck. They traveled to Heritage High School, Hollywood.
I reckon magic, one assumes.
Yes, magic. San Juan Islands. When the two big feet came across the mountains, they saw something they hadn't seen before. The Bigfoot on the mountain looked lonely and sad. The two friends throw the boomerang up to the lonely Bigfoot. The boomerang read, "Friend wanted." The new Bigfoot jumps off the mountain, using the boomerang magic to fly down, and the German asks to go home. All three hug and load up in the truck to take the German Bigfoot home. The three big feet travel across the sea to take their new friend home.
I reckon magic.
Yes, they stop in Australia first.
Nodded. No.
Russia?
Nope.
France?
Nodded. No.
They finally found it.
Look, that's Germany.
The new friends seemed happy but sad. They hugged and waved goodbye to their new friend. The two big feet decide to journey together back home. The two big feet stop in Australia.
Womp. It's just a cautionary tale about looking out for sharks in the reef.
Australian Bigfoot gives the American the boomerang that started his journey. The American Bigfoot wind up and flew back home. The American Bigfoot gets in his truck, but it runs out of gas. Finally, the American made it back home, where he started his journey. They found using the magic within the boomerang to communicate and talk every day. Though they do miss not being with each other, they still cherish the moments in life they had. The magic of friendship makes the world a better place.
No, Germans don't eat that.
Ah, that's not right.
It's a Bigfoot world and we're living in it.
Having fun.
The end.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. What's that about?
Ah, that's not right.
Such great work from our digital arts students and staff at Heritage High School. You can look for more stop-motion film projects from them coming up in the near future. For Evergreen Public Schools, I'm Matt Griffin.